Hi, I'm Nikki from Teaching Autism and welcome to the Autism and Special Education Community Podcast. Are you an autism or special education professional? Are you a teacher or therapist looking for support and new ideas? You may even be a parent, family member or carer. This podcast is perfect to help you find out more information, support and get some of your questions answered. Hi everyone and welcome back to another episode on my Teaching Autism and Special Education Community Podcast. Today I'm going to be talking about a subject that's really close to my heart, and it's one that I think until you see it in action, either on yourself or in someone you care for, you don't really understand what it is all about, and it's anxiety. My partner has severe anxiety to the point that it can quite literally stop him in his tracks some days and stop him enjoying whatever we're doing. He can go months and months and be fine. He can mask it so nobody else really knows about it. Then something can happen and trigger it all over again, and it can take a while before he's out of his anxiety process again. What I've learned the most throughout this anxiety journey is that, just like autism, it looks different to everyone who has it. And just as a disclaimer, my partner does not have autism, he's not diagnosed with anything. His anxiety appeared to come from nowhere a few years ago, and it's been quite a journey. And only going on this journey with him did I realise just how serious anxiety is and how much it can truly affect someone. So today on this podcast episode, I'm going to be talking all about anxiety and autism. And I would love for you to stick around and listen to everything that I have to say, even if you don't think you have any students with anxiety, because you may have one who's masking it really well, or you may get a student with anxiety in the future. So first, what is anxiety? Well, it's a real difficulty for anyone, and it can affect both the mind and the body. And it produces a range of different symptoms, both psychologically and physically. Some psychological symptoms are difficulty sleeping, obsessing over one subject or situation, difficulty concentrating, always thinking about the worst possible outcome, depression, and easily losing patience. And some physical symptoms may include having an upset stomach, a rapid pounding heart, headaches, feeling dizzy, excessive thirst, loose bowel movements, tremors, and muscle aches. But if you have these physical symptoms, it's important to go to your doctor and seek medical advice because they're linked to a range of other medical conditions as well. Anxiety is a feeling of unease. It can make the individual feel worried or scared, and it's very common in individuals on the autism spectrum. There are lots of different types of anxiety, and these can be generalized anxiety, fears, phobias, obsessions, compulsions, and there's a variety of different factors associated with anxiety and individuals on the spectrum. And these include the need for routine and structure, sensory sensitivities, and difficulties with emotional regulation, to name just a few. Now, just like I mentioned earlier, anxiety can look different in people. So some people may become withdrawn, they may shut down, they may be unable to complete a task or communicate, while others may display aggressive and challenging behaviours. Research suggests that around 40% of people on the autism spectrum have significant levels of anxiety, or at least one anxiety disorder, although many other researchers believe that the actual percentage may be higher than this. Anxiety can make situations especially difficult, but there are ways that we can manage situations and help our students with anxiety feel more relaxed and support them through it. First is keep a diary. Help your students understand what to look for to identify when they are feeling anxious. Get them to talk about how they're feeling, what made them feel that way, what happened, and where they were. How anxious were they on a scale of 1 to 10? Obviously, this won't work for all students, but if your student is able to fill in this diary with this information, it means you're able to get a more clear picture about their anxiety and help to identify any triggers and what makes them feel like this. There's actually an app available on smart devices here in the UK called Brain in Hand, and this is designed to help manage anxiety. It gives easy access to support on your phone, and it can help your students remember activities and feel supported and reduce their anxiety. And there's even a telephone service on there to give support when needed. Another idea is to create an anxiety plan. So this is a plan where you can list things and situations that cause anxiety, and then list solutions and strategies that they can use to help manage their anxiety. So one example could be the situation is having to meet new people. The anxiety symptoms could be your heart beating fast, feeling sick, worrying they won't like me. The solution, go with a friend who can help me, take myself off for breaks by myself, go to the toilet if I need alone time, identify quiet areas of the room to go for some cool down time. There are also many relaxation techniques that can be used to help with anxiety. Many of our students can find it difficult to relax, but if we provide them with opportunities to relax and calm down, this can really help with their anxiety. These could be things like lying in a quiet room, having time in the sensory room, listening to calming music, aromatherapy, sat in a dark room with soothing lights and bubble tubes, yoga sessions, breathing sessions. These activities can help the student to feel calmer and help to alleviate some of their anxiety. Another common problem is if the student is nonverbal or has difficulty communicating. One of the best ways that I've seen by a teacher with a student with anxiety was for them to use a card system. If they felt anxious or were starting to feel anxious, they had a card that they could give the teacher. The card came with a table of numbers 1 to 3 on it and a clothing peg. The student would put the clothing peg on the number that they were feeling for their stress scale and hand it to the teacher. This allowed the teacher to know how the student was feeling and for the student to seek help and support when needed. If you suspect your child or student has anxiety, I really recommend putting through a referral to a doctor. This will allow them to get the help that they need and any further referrals if needed for therapies. The earlier you can spot the signs of anxiety and start getting the help, the easier it will be. So this was just my quick episode today on autism and anxiety. I really recommend heading over to the show notes to find out more, and I hope that you found this podcast episode helpful. Please consider sparing just a minute or two after this to leave us feedback on the podcast and let us know how you found this episode. Thank you for listening, and I'll speak to you again soon.